when people hear something different, they get scared. This movie is coming out at this time when not only is there like people are outwardly, openly looking for something new in film, but also openly looking for something new in social movements and ways to engage and change the world.
So I just want to talk a bit about the film, obviously, Sorry to Bother You, which is set in Oakland, where you grew up. Just wanted to ask you, like, what are some of your memories? What's the Oakland you grew up in like?
We didn't used to have access to the kinds of places that exist. Like, we didn't have venues to do hip hop shows at. There were venues, there were bars and stuff like that, but they didn't book hip hop. They only booked like rock or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so we had to rent out restaurants or union halls or, even like hotel meeting spaces. And that's where our shows happened. Mm-hmm. Right? Oakland is a small town, 400,000 people. It's part of this bigger metropolitan area, the Bay Area. We're like right across the water, 5 minutes from San Francisco and Berkeley, all that kind of stuff. But so it's still like this small town where we don't get to do anything. Like I said, there's no venues, that sort of thing. So people want to see something, and you have this feeling like you're irrelevant, like nobody knows who you are, because at the time people didn't know. You'd say Oakland, they'd be like, Oklahoma? What? Like they didn't know what that was.
Uh-huh. So you've had a really long career in music, like over 20-year career, and you started out by going to film school. What brought you back? Like, you wrote Sorry to Bother You, I think the first draft was finished in 2012. Like, what was it in 2011 that made you want to start writing this film and felt like it was a good time to get into filmmaking?
I'd done a side project with Tom Morello called Street Sweeper Social Club. Tom is one of my best friends. However, I'm not used to that sort of a collaboration. So I wasn't feeling fulfilled by that experience, which I'd worked on for a couple years. It's hard for all the talk I do about like how people need to collectively do something. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes for artists to work together, it's a weird situation and it doesn't satisfy everything I need. I needed something that I controlled all the aspects about it, that I could create this world and make people go through this experience, And
it's quite the world. It's kind of like a dystopian, alternate present day kind of world. When you finished the script and you were pitching it around in the early days, like what were some of those meetings like? How were people reacting to this really unique world that you created?
I went to both the Screenwriters Lab and the Directors Lab. The Sundance Screenwriters Labs, you meet with like a writer for like 2 or 3 hours at a time or something like that. And you just talk to them about the script. No rules about it or whatever. There's this guy, Kareem Ainous, who is a independent filmmaker from Brazil, based in Berlin. So this guy was like, I love your main character, Cassius. I love him. I just think he's just a really good dude. I just want to protect him. I want to hang out with that guy. And he said, and that's how I know it's bullshit, because I hate everybody. And so this made me reconstruct the same storyline, but with him making the decisions, him owning them and defending his reasoning. That had ripples throughout the script.
So you've kind of been talking about the issues that you deal with in the film your whole career, whether it's like labor rights or the redistribution of wealth. Do you find like that it seems like right now a lot of the stuff like labor rights, for instance, has been kind of on the periphery of culture, with the exception of up until like, the Occupy Wall Street days. And now it's kind of having a resurgence in the mainstream media. Can you talk a bit about like this film coming out at a more timely time for the culture right now?
Well, yeah, I think that art is often reflective of the movements that are going on out there right now. And I think that folks are at a point where we've been promised all of these fruits of democratic society. Like, if things are voted on by the majority, then they're going to serve the majority, right? But it's not happening. It's not really what happens. And I think everyone's searching for a way to make things better.
And kind of to that point, I've heard you talk in the past about how if you look at like Hollywood films, they kind of have a similar structure, even when some of the radical seeming films, that kind of, it puts the state as the hero in a lot of ways. Like if you think of the Bourne Identities, the Mission Impossibles, even Black Panther has like elements of it. Why was it important for you to show a different kind of hero?
Well, I guess the real simple answer is that I don't believe the ideas that are being put out by those other films. So that's not my worldview. And I think that there are many artists who that wouldn't be their worldview, but you kind of get caught up in the conventions of storytelling that lead you to tell that kind of a story. Those rules do help you creatively, and they're necessary. It's good to have constraint. But then after a while, that constraint becomes cliche. I want to make films that don't make you think, wow, that person is so special, I could never be that. Because that's what, in real life, the person that has done this amazing thing also feels that way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more true to life to show, as much as possible, like a collective struggle, as much as possible, someone who does the things that they have to do, it's not because of their special power. We've all got some sort of special power. So it's not that makes someone special. It's just their decision to engage and to actually do something.